tag the AI travel agent and I'll ask, hey, what should I do in this situation and who should I talk to? This client wants to receive a refund on the booking they made, which happens tomorrow. So I'll send that message, and then what will happen is that will trigger the automation on n8n, where it will go to the AI agent, and the AI agent is connected to multiple knowledge bases, which is basically on Airtable, and it will retrieve the correct information from the correct Airtable base, and then it will provide back a suitable reply on what I should say. So here, for example, it replied back with, based on the policy for bookings cancelled less than 24 hours before check-in, the client is not eligible for a refund. Here's a possible response. Dear client, we understand that your plans have changed. However, our company policy 24 hours, etc. You can get a 10% discount on your next booking, etc. So for companies who are currently hiring new people, and the training is good for the person, but what will happen is the new person who joins the company will always have questions that will come up. Instead of asking repetitive questions to the manager or to another team member, they can directly ask the questions to the Slack app, which is an AI agent trained on the information that it needs. Me myself, I worked in sales, I worked in inside sales, and we had questions all the time, and we would always ask each other, we would always ask our manager, which would not only waste time of everyone in the team, but also the person on the phone or the person who is waiting, the client who is on the other side would not get a reply straight away. Even sometimes it will take a day to reply back to that person and to get the correct information on what can be done. So having a solution like this is very valuable, and any type of business would need this on Slack. So that's why I'm making a tutorial on it, and why you should learn this and you should start selling this to companies or implementing it for yourself. I have a link in the description, which is my school community. It's called Rev AI. You can join it for free and you can get this whole template and all the resources you need there. Let's continue in the video. This is the quickest and easiest way to connect Slack to n8n. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up a workspace. So what you're going to do is you sign up into Slack and then you create a new workspace, and here it's going to ask the name of your company. For this tutorial, I'll just show a travel agency in Greece that uses Slack. Then once you have the name, you press next. Then you have to just put your name. You can upload a profile picture if you want to. And then here what you're going to do is you're just going to skip this step. And then you can add a channel. So I'll write inquiries. And then here you can start with the limited free version. Once you have done that, then your Slack workspace has been set up and it's ready to be used. Now the next step is to add the Slack app. So how do you do that? So what you're going to do is you're going to click on the title of the workspace, and you're going to go in Tools and Settings, and you click on Manage Apps. Once you have that, then you're just going to click on Build. And then once you have done that, you just put a name for the app and you select the workspace that we just created, which will add that app to the workspace. So from here, it's going to look a little bit complicated, but no worries. I'll show you exactly what to do. So the first thing to do here is, I'm going to add an app icon just to make it look nicer, and I'm also going to add an icon to the workspace. So to do this is, first of all, I generated a logo on ChatGPT. So here we have the logo of the Slack app, and then here we have the logo of the Slack workspace. So to add a logo on the Slack workspace, it's a little bit hidden. So you go and you click onto the name, and then you go to Tools and Settings. And then here you're going to click on Customize Workspace. And then from there you can click on Workspace icon, and here you just upload the image that you want as the logo of the workspace. Okay, great. So now that's done. Now we can just close this. And as you can see, the logo updated. Now, how do we actually put a logo for the app? So here you go into basic information, you scroll down, and then you just add an app icon. You can also change the app name if you want to here, change the background color, whatever, etc. So here I'm adding an icon for the AI travel agent, and that's done. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll go to OAuth and permission. So here is kind of the main page on how you install the app and what kind of permission and and what kind of permissions we will give it. So you just need to scroll down and then you'll see bot token scopes. And here what you do is you're going to add exactly these scopes. So apps mentioned read, channels read, channels write, channels join, and that's it. So apps mentioned read, it's mentioned read works whenever you mention the app. So you just have the permission to trigger, for example, or to reply back. Then channels read is to read the message that was put into the channel. Channels write is to write a message. We don't need this. We don't need the channel write one. And then channel join is just a permission to actually join a Slack channel. So from there, after that, what you're going to do is you're going to click on install to Greece travel agency. And so what that will do is it will install it onto your Slack workspace, and then you allow it. Once that's done, you will see a success message. Then you go back to the Slack workspace. Then you go back to the Slack workspace, and as you can see in my apps, we see AI travel agent, and it's there. Now the next part is we need to add it to the Slack channel. So what you're going to do is you're just going to tag it into the Slack channel like this. And then there will be a message to add them. So you just click on the button, add them, and now they have been invited to the Slack channel. So they are, and so now they have been added to the Slack channel. So the next part here is to actually configure now the n8n workflow. So here it consists of a Slack trigger node, the AI agent, so the brain of the automation, and then the Slack action node, which sends the output of the whatever the AI agent generates. Then we use OpenAI as the chat model, and then we have these three tools which are basically connected to Airtable. The reason why I have it connected to Airtable is because I'm going to fetch the data that is required to Airtable to reply back. So as you saw in the demo of the video, this as you saw in the demo part, this Slack app is basically to help the new hire in the travel agent team. And so that hire is a travel agent themselves that responds to inquiries. So people that call just think of it as like someone from the sales team that recently just joined the company, and so they are in charge of replying back to any type of inquiries that is coming through. And so I actually had this experience when I worked in my inside sales job, where I was receiving inquiries the whole day, and you would come to some inquiries where you just didn't know what to reply and who should I talk to get the answer, what is available, etc. And so if I actually had a Slack app, an AI agent on Slack where I could speak to and get that information directly, then it would have made my work much more efficient, and I would be able to reply much quicker to the inquiry of the person. So this is really the use case. And so we have three different tables on Airtable. We have the team organization, we have the hotel properties, and then we have the refund policy. So hotel properties will be useful for, let's say I'm a travel agent, someone is calling me and asking, yes, we want to leave, we want to go on a trip, we are going on a family trip, we want to go to Greece in a very calm area, our budget is 600 euros per night. What do you have available? Well, instead of the actual travel agent to go and then tell them we'll get back to you at the end of the day, or we'll send you a proposal by email, or actually spending time like 10-15 minutes searching into the database on what is applicable, on what kind of hotel matches the criteria of the person. Well, instead we'll use an AI agent to go through the different properties that are in this list, and then we'll select based on the description and the price per night, which option is the most suitable one. So like for example here it would say since their budget it was 600 euros a night, so it's closer to 750, so it will give the first option and not the second option. So this is just small details, but that's how it would be used. And then same thing for refund policy. So this is like client scenarios. So let's say I have someone who wants so let's say I have someone who called in and they want to get a refund, and they want to have a refund, but their booking is in the next 8 hours. However, the reason why they cannot go to their trip is because they got sick and they have an official document from the doctor saying that they're sick. Do they get a refund or not? So as the travel agent, I could be confused and I wouldn't know directly on the spot. But if I could just ask the AI travel agent, so the AI app, give the scenario, and then it'll check the database to see what I should be doing and what should I say. So for example, here in this case, client, so here in this case, it's cancelled due to medical emergency with document. They are eligible for the refund, and the instructions is to get the document, then escalate to the finance manager for approval. So it just gives me exactly what I need to do and just saves a lot of time. Normally what would happen is I would go to my manager or I'll go to my teammate and ask them, look, there's this person, this is his scenario, do you think he gets a refund? And then the team member would probably say, yeah, I don't know, no, probably not. And then I would go to the manager, ask the manager would be busy, maybe in a meeting or something else, and then I'd wait, and then the person would get a reply the next day. Like, it's just very messy, takes a lot of time, but instead here we have all of the different types of scenarios and what has happened in the past, and it's just very easy for the travel agent to know exactly what to do. Better for the travel agent, better for the whole team, and also for client experience. So yeah. Then the next step is the team organization. So here we have the different people who are in the team. So this is just dummy data. But yeah, like for example, we have Julia Smith, head of finance, Max Grace, customer service rep, etc. And so let's say again, I'm a new hire and I don't know who to speak to, who to ask the question to. Well, AI will use this sheet to get the details from. So for example, in the refund policy part, here when it says escalate to finance manager for approval, if I just got recently hired and if it's a huge team of like 200 people, I don't know who the finance manager is. And so here it will give you the head of finance or the manager directly, and it'll give you the name, but here on top of it, it'll also give the status. So I would know which person to actually talk to. I'm not going to ask the head of finance if they are in a meeting because I know that I won't get the reply straight away. But in this case, I wouldn't ask Lex either because he's out of office. So I'll probably ask a customer service rep or a sales development representative, or I would just tell the person that, so the client on the phone, that the head of finance is currently in a meeting and that I have to speak with them for the next step. So something like this. Well, you get the point. So that's why we use Airtable, and these are what the tools are for, to fetch the data from each Airtable base. And then what will happen is it will just send back the output, so the reply, back to Slack in the same Slack channel. And so that's how you create a proper AI. So that's how you create a proper Slack app that's generated with. So that's how you create a proper Slack app. So that's how you create a proper Slack AI app that has a proper use case in business, and that is going to be useful for everyone in the team. And like I said, if you want to get the template, then you can just join my community. It's called Rev AI. It's on School. The link is in the description. It's free to join. You don't have to pay for anything, and all of the resources that you need is there. It also allows you to join a community where there's like-minded people who are all on the same mission of revolutionizing industries. In this case, we're revolutionizing the travel agent. In this case, we're revolutionizing the travel agency industry. So yeah, just a great incentive to join, and then at the same time you get the template, you can meet some cool people. I see you in the community. Okay, great. Let's get back to the video. So here what we're going to now do is I'm going to show you step by step how to actually build this, how to connect the Slack, how to connect and configure the Slack nodes, how to get the data from Airtable, and what is the prompt of the AI agent. So yeah, all of this is going to be very useful for you because you will also be able to apply this into other situations. So yeah, so let's get right into it. Okay, great. So the next step here is to configure the nodes. What I'll do is I'll give just a brief explanation on what are the different types of nodes and when are they used. So here you have a trigger node, and then you have a normal action node. How do you even put a node is you click on the plus here, and then you're basically going to search for what you want to add. So here you have Slack, and you have two types. You have a tool node, and then you have a normal node. So the tool node is only used for the AI agent. So as you can see here, I have three tools, which are HTTP requests to get information from Airtable. But in this case, if we want to create a Slack trigger node or the Slack post message node, then we will just click on the normal Slack, and then here you can see the different action nodes and then the different trigger nodes. So what is a trigger node? The trigger node is what will start the automation workflow. So in this case, we just have a regular Slack trigger, but what you could add is, for example, when there's a new message that gets posted to a channel, then that will be the Slack trigger and it will start the automation workflow. Then for the Slack post message, this would be an action node, and here, well, you would find it here, so message actions, and then you would do send a message, and that's what it would be. So once you have the Slack trigger node, what you're going to do is, well, you need to create a credential. So this would be connecting your Slack account to n8n. So how to do that? Very simple. You click on plus, create new credential, and then here it's going to ask you an access token. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the Slack API website. So the Slack app. So this is where we connect the Slack app and where we can change the different configurations for the Slack app. And what you'll do is you'll go to OAuth and permissions. And here you see the bot user OAuth token, and you're just going to copy this code like this. And so you're just going to copy the code like this, and what you're going to do is and then you press on save. And when it shows a green message, that means that it has been connected correctly. Then after that, well, we have to select what will it be triggered on. So you can select any event, which I do not recommend. What you have to select is bot and app mention, because otherwise what's going to happen is whenever someone will send a message in the channel, and it might not be directed to the bot, it might be directed to another team member or just to inform the channel about something, well, that will actually trigger the automation if you had any event. So what you want to do is you want to select bot app mention. So whenever someone mentions the Slack app, so at AI travel agent, then that's when the automation flow will start. Here you have two options. You can watch the whole workspace, or you can watch a specific channel. Just for the purpose of this video, I will just watch the whole workspace. But yeah, you can definitely pick a specific channel where it will only watch. But in this case, since we have a Slack app, it should be it should watch every single channel where the app gets tagged into. So then you also have a last part where you actually have to configure it. So to do that, you have to copy the test webhook URL, and then you're going to go into the Slack app page, and you're going to go to event subscriptions. And this basically allows you to add when should the Slack trigger get triggered. And you're going to allow enable events, and you're going to post the URL here. Now what you'll see is that there will be an error. The reason why is because the flow is not active. So you go back to n8n, test the step, and then there we will do a retry, and as you'll see, it has been verified. So that's great. Now the next step is we need to subscribe to bot events. So here we just need to that it triggers when there's an app mention. And then we save the changes, and we will probably need to reinstall the Slack app onto our workspace. So let's just reinstall it. So you go to install app, and then you just reinstall it like this, click on allow, and then there you go, it has been reinstalled. So now what we need to do is we actually need to test and see if this works. Okay, so after we have saved it, then we can actually test the workflow and we can see if it works. So what we do is we go back to the Slack, and we send a message like we would have to tag the chatbot, so at AI travel agent, at name of your of the Slack app that you made, and then here I'm going to say hey, and what that would do is it will trigger the automation. And as you can see, we have all the details here. So we have the message, and then we also have the user. So this is my user ID, and then how did it actually trigger it? Through the app mention. So from here, we're able to actually configure the rest. So in this AI agent prompt, what I have is I said, you are a Slack assistant working for a travel agency. Based on the user's message, choose the correct tool and fetch the most relevant information. And then here we have the different tools. So we have the hotel tool, the team org tool, the client scenarios tool, and then a brief description on what that tool does. And then only respond with a clear, helpful message that the agent can paste directly back into Slack. This is more only respond with a clear, helpful message that will be sent to the AI agent, to the travel agent, that will be useful to help with the inquiry, whatever you want to say here. I generated this with ChatGPT very quickly, but yeah, it works well. And then here you have user inquiry. So this is where we're actually going to change this part. And this is the inquiry that the agent has made to the Slack app. It needs help with, so we just need to take text and we put it inside the two brackets. And then there you go, that's done. And then from here we can actually, we can test the step. Of course we don't have this configured yet. I configured it and I'll show you how to do it. See, looks like you just said, hey, if you have any specific question or need assistance, etc. So yeah, I just said, hey, so that's why. Now let's configure the ChatGPT node. So what you do here, same thing, you're going to add a new credential, and then here it's just going to ask the API key. For that, you go to OpenAI, documentation, and then you need to create a new API key, and then you just paste it here. So it's not that difficult. You're also able to change the different models here from the whole list. And then once that part is done, then it's done. Now let's actually first work on the next Slack node. So this is also very, very easy. You just press on create new credential, and then what I recommend you to do is to use the OAuth 2. And here you connect to your account Slack workspace on where you want to install, on which Slack you want to use this, and then you just click allow, and what that will do is it will create a new connection and it will be connected to n8n. So you'll be able to, n8n will be able to send out messages and post it on Slack. So that's why we have to do that twice. One is for the trigger and one is to be able to send out a message. So once that's done, then after that, in resource, like we're sending a message, we put message, operation is send message to, then you put channel, and then we're sending it in the inquiry channel. And then the message that we're sending is the output of the AI agent. So you just have to drag this into here, and then that's it. And then you can test the step, and normally it should come up as a message here. So it looks like you just said, hey, if you have anything. Now, as you can see, it was sent from my user, so we have to change that. If you want the Slack app to actually reply back in the channel, what you would do is you would actually create the credentials in the action node. You would input the access token. So what you do for that is you go to OAuth and permission, and then here you get the access token like this, and then you're going to just place that. And once that's done, you just save everything, and now we can test it and see if it works. So hey, so let's say I have someone on the phone. Let's say I have someone on the phone and they want to cancel their booking, and yeah, their booking is in 48 hours. Do they receive a refund? Hey, I have. So here I send the message, and what will happen is if we go back to the automation workflow, we go into executions, and here it will show you everything that has happened. So let's see. Okay, so here we see there's an error. So the Slack app doesn't have the chat write bot permission. So that means that it cannot write a message and send it. So not a problem. What we'll do is we'll change that. So here we have to add a new AL scope, and here we're going to write chat write, and that's it. And now we have to reinstall the app so that change takes place, allow it, and then we can test it again. So let's go back to Slack. Let's just ask the same thing. this, go back to the executions, it will show up automatically. And then we'll also, well, we already got the reply, so here we can see that the app replied. Okay, so before we do a test, actually, what we'll do is we'll go to Slack and we'll just make sure that every time there's a new message from the Slack app that it won't send the link to the workflow, because there's an annoying message saying that it was powered by n8n. So we'll just remove that and then we'll save it. And what I have also done is I changed the ChatGPT model to ChatGPT 4 so that it's more intelligent and that it doesn't do stupid errors. So yeah, what we'll do now is we'll actually test it. So add AI travel agent, post the message, and here it's going to reply back. Should reply back with basically saying that we'll cancel 2 days in advance, so yes, they can get a refund, and that we will initiate a full refund with the finance team. So okay, so now that that's done, we can test it again. So at AI travel agent, I have a client on the phone that wants to cancel the booking and receive a refund. The booking the trip, let's just say the trip starts the 2nd April 2025, and today we are the 30th of March, something like that. And basically what is supposed to happen, well, according to the data in the Airtable, the person should receive a full refund and we'll process it with the finance team. So yeah, your client is eligible for a refund since the cancellation is done at least 2 days in advance of the check-in date. The next step would be to initiate a full refund via the finance team. Okay, great. Let's say I'm new. Who is in the finance team? I don't know who to contact. Okay, great. Who can I talk to from the finance team for the refund? Let's see what I forgot to tag the AI travel agent. So what you could also do is you could have it that whenever there's a new message in the chat, it will get triggered, but I do not recommend it, because then any type of message that will be sent, it will start triggering. But here, as you can see, reply back. You can talk to Julia Smith, who is the head of finance, but currently she's in a meeting. However, Max Grace is a customer service rep and is available in the office. You may want to start the conversation with him. So yeah, do you see how like this could be super useful? Imagine you are in a big organization, for example, I was in a sales team. We were 15 SDRs, and then there was multiple other people in the company. Whenever you had a question, you didn't really know who to ask. And yeah, having this type of system would be super beneficial, just to get information quicker, to provide get the information quicker and provide direct assistance to the person in real time. And as long as the database is always accurate, then this will always work the best. Then this will always be very useful. So now that this is done, now let's actually check how to do the HTTP tools to get the information from Airtable. So here we have 3 tools. So basically how you do it is you click on the plus tool and you're going to select the HTTP request tool, or you can just type it and then you'll have it like so. For each tool, what I have is a brief description of when to use this tool. So use this tool to get hotel information, and then the method is get, because we are getting information, we're not posting information. Then this is the URL of the Airtable. So what you will need to change, again, all of this is in my community, RevAI, it's on school, the link is in the description and it's free to join. All the resources are there, so no worries, you don't have to write this by hand. But essentially here what we have is, what you will need to change is you will need to change these 2 data sets. So the app, I believe this is the base ID and this is the table ID. So if we go to Airtable, well, you can't see the link because it's hidden, but basically you will have this in the link like so. and this is the app ID, and then you have the table ID. Yeah, so this is the app ID, and then you have the table ID, and then what you would do is you would just remove the last part. So you would just copy paste this. If it's going to allow me to do it, you're just going to copy paste this basically, and you'll put that into the HTTP like so, like this. So remember to give it a description so that the AI knows when to use it, and then you don't have to do anything with the authentication. What you're going to do is you will send headers, and here you will put authorization, and then you will put your API key. Always remember to put bearer, and then here you put the API key next to it, and that's it. So yeah, and that's it. How to find your API key is pretty easy. So so to find your API key, you'll see all of your Airtable bases, and here is, for example, all of the information for my Rev AI Slack Airtable base. And to get the API key, I go to authentication, personal access tokens, and then there will just show all of my API tokens. So create, and then if you want to create a token, you put the name. So let's just say test. You can't name it test, so you have to put something else. And then you just add all of the scopes, and then you select which Airtable base that API key will work for. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, hopefully this was useful. Leave a like, subscribe if you liked the content, if it was valuable to you. This might be like a 15-minute video, but trust me, it took like 3 hours to do, just because it's pretty complex to navigate through all of these different parts. But yeah, hopefully this was useful. Again, I want to see you in the community. If you are interested in learning about these n8n workflows, the best way and the easiest way to learn is by getting the templates, being in a community with like-minded people, asking questions, learning, getting on one-on-one call with me to ask any type of question you have, and then just start implementing, experiencing. Like, that's the best way to learn. So take action, join the community. I see you there, and I see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.